just keep playing. Welcome to our Sunday morning meditation service. The daily word for today is Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey began when she changed her mind. Inspired by the words of a healing practitioner, she took this affirmation to heart. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. This is so interesting that this is the word for today, because I think the soul of Myrtle has been coming through me. I have been obsessed reading her life and the one book that she wrote, but there's many books that are written about her, and it is the most amazing human being. She is such a guru, and it's just so interesting that they're talking about her. And if you can get a hold of Myrtle Fillmore's books on the internet, it will change your life. I mean, this was the guru of the movement. Charles was great, but this woman brought him into the work. So, after 2 years of persistent health affirmation, meditation, prayer, and practice, Myrtle was healed. Her faith made her well. Myrtle Fillmore lived joyously and vigorously for many years. I take inspiration from this story. I too am a living expression of God. I feel my body's quickening response as I claim my inheritance of divine life. Vibrantly active in every cell of my body, good nutrition, exercise, and rest support my healing practice. My faith is making me well. This is so amazing. So we're going to do a chant, and chanting is just such an amazing way to come into the presence and then to go into silence. So this is a call and response, and then at some point we'll just do it straight through. But this is a chant. Okay. I am in your sacred light. I am in your sacred night. I feel the radiance of all life. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. Oh Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. I feel my heart is open. let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. Oh Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. Oh Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. Oh Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. Oh Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will. Oh, I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Lord, let me know your will. I am in your sacred light. I feel the radiance of all life. My heart is open. Oh Lord, let me know your will.
Good morning, everyone. The last 2 Sundays were focused on the shortest, most direct path to the enlightened life, or the enlightened awareness, which is the same. In the enlightened awareness, one loves God and loves his or her neighbor as himself. And while that seems quite a bit different than we have been trained to believe, it is the only way into a life truly worth living. On occasion, when sharing information like this in a Search for God group or a Course in Miracles group, someone would express how difficult it is actually to see others as yourself, all others, when there are so many bad people in the world. So it's not an easy path. In fact, it requires a radical change of mind that could not be accomplished unless one were given to serious spiritual practice. And this idea is shared by the masters down through the ages. If we can just begin to see how radical the shift is from the illusion of separation, which defines me as a body-encapsulated self, a self with a mind, and then there's everything else that is not part of me. One can see in that state of mind how conflict is almost necessary to deal with the different people and phenomena that don't necessarily seem to be holding one's personal self-interests as their own. So it's a radical step, a radical move to start on a level of faith to do that which just doesn't seem apparent to us. But then you have to ask yourself questions like, what is it What does A Course in Miracles mean, referring to miracles? And what do these masters really mean by laying this stuff out of there being one power, one presence in all the universe? So again, let us look at A Course in Miracles, and when we look at it, think of it this way. How the world operates, could you get anyone to write this kind of stuff? Could you get anyone 7 years, day after day, to write this stuff, who never made any money from it? This is Helen Schuckman channeling the truth. We are all joined in the at-one-ment. She doesn't pronounce that as atonement. That's at-one-ment here. In this world, we are all joined in the at-one-ment. And nothing else can unite us in this world. So will the world of separation slip away, and full communication be restored between the Father and the Son. The miracle acknowledges the guiltlessness that must have been denied to produce the need of healing. That is such a powerful line right there. The miracle acknowledges the guiltlessness that must have been denied. We were born into guiltfulness, not guiltlessness. So we deny the whole concept that everything in its essence is guiltless. So it must have been denied, and it's worldwide denied. So the miracle acknowledges that guiltlessness that must have been denied to produce the need of healing. Do not withhold this glad acknowledgement, for hope of happiness and release from suffering of every kind lie in it. Who is there but wishes to be free of pain? He may not yet have learned how to exchange guilt for innocence, nor realize that only in this exchange can freedom from pain be his or hers. It really would be better said freedom from suffering, because on an everyday basis, there is this discomfort, there is difficulty, there is a certain amount of pain, and we have to learn how to transcend that thinking, because only by thinking about it and living in it and talking about it and pointing it up to people do we suffer. We hold ourselves in a state of not feeling good. Do you see that? The difference between the idea that there's these problems, difficulties that show up on a daily basis in our lives, but that does not constitute suffering. That's just part of what goes on in the physical trading of experience and ideas. But what is necessary is to transcend the idea that this is happening to me and I am a victim, and I hold this whole idea of being a victim against feeling good, against feeling God. And let me say this from experience. At a certain point, when your desire to feel good has motivated you to practice this presence of looking past the limited expressions of others and life itself, you know that you are one with the guiding intelligence of life. You see it taking place instantaneously as you approach different situations and conditions that cause people to really just fold up and feel inadequate to deal with. You feel yourself there, capable, and knowing that this intelligence is the guiding truth of whatever the situation or dilemma is that you're meeting. So, you want to be one with God? You really think you can handle it without being one with God? That's all that anybody is doing who is really choosing to suffer. Anyway, this whole idea is beautifully related in these words from the Master of Life to his disciples at the Last Supper. And we should consider that the Last Supper was some situation where the Master of Life really was interested in declaring to his disciples there, historically speaking, and those who would ever be his disciples, the truth that would finally free them. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. Can we take this back again, please? This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. That already is a difficult calling for us. Because the calling is, if he's saying, as I have loved you, you have to understand something. This divine being, historically thinking of him as a carpenter's son, this divine being, we could not give anything to this enlightened soul. What could you have given to this enlightened soul? Nothing. So whatever love was bestowed by this enlightened soul, it was unconditional. And that's what we are being asked to do, to start to develop unconditional love for all, so that we might enter into the same expanded heavenly state of consciousness that the masters share. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. Again, if you're not too aware of A Course in Miracles and the teachings of the masters, lay down his life. You'd think he's talking about his crucifixion. No, he's talking about laying down the life of the ego-centered awareness, which is the life we live until we lay it down. So there's no greater love than that you lay down this illusionary idea of yourself so that you might finally participate in the joy of being one with the intelligence that offers you life and breath and joy in every moment, if you're willing to accept it. If your specialness is beyond that, then you're going to struggle a little further, a little longer. You are my friends if you do what I command you. That is, start to practice setting aside that illusionary, ego-centered self. If you do that, no longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have set before you not only 2,000 years ago in my words, but I have set before you throughout the ages of every life those who will share this truth so that you will not be separated from it. It has been there down through the ages because this truth can never go away. It is the truth about how to live. finally live effectively, joyfully, harmoniously, beautifully. That is the truth that makes you free. So I do no longer call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. And if you haven't been able to deal with the Bible, because in your day you didn't have enough people around you that understood anything about it in reality, there have been other ways, channels. And A Course in Miracles is one of them, for you to begin to see the truth that will make you free. Of course, this is a hard calling, and let me tell you that so many have openly, inwardly denied the presence of a creator. Do you understand? If you deny that presence, you have to believe, I am personally self-created. I have personally created myself. And then, if the cosmos was really honorable to that degree, it would say, okay, listen, what I'd like you to do is take over your own breathing personally. Take over the movement of your blood. Take over the movement of the nutrients that run through your blood. Take all of these processes over yourself so that you can figure them out and work it out for yourself. So if you are self-created, then it's up to you to do it yourself. So to acknowledge this, and now so many people are still not willing to acknowledge that they are created by a greater intelligence that has a plan for them to enter into true life. And I can tell you, even now, what used to be accepted is not, many of the things that used to be accepted on a spiritual level are no longer accepted at all. And I say there is a section of the marriage vows that have been removed. I mean, when I talk to somebody about doing a wedding today, quite often, they definitely want those old vows taken out. These are, let's have this up. These are the old vows. I am, take thee in, to be my wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, and forsaking all others, that should be all others, keep thee only unto her, so I long as you both shall live, as so long as you both shall live. I got that mixed up a little bit. That's my fault there, but so this is out here today, this whole to love and to cherish, for richer, for poorer, for sickness and in health. Nah, not really up to that, not up for that. But the hard one here in Boulder, this one has been taken out. There's not a single wedding vow in Boulder that this is used anymore. In Boulder, it has been, eradicated. Forsaking all others. Well, that's it. But let me say, when I had a friend tell me some years ago that he had been requested by someone to write a New Age committal ceremony so that they wouldn't have to really get married, and there was no ring involved, but they'd like to make a commitment to each other. This is another minister. His name is Brian Young. And so after he said that to me, I decided to write my own. This is my own wedding for those in Boulder. Do you, John, take Mary to be your special roommate, to have and to hold and to do naughty things together, as long as she pays half her rent or someone better looking comes along? I do. And you, Mary, will you submit to watching football and eating chicken wings and beer until your brain evaporates or until someone better looking comes along? Yes, why not? In the Master's admonition for unconditional love, that is, love without conditions, that's an amazing state of mind. And only by faith can you begin to step toward that experience, that true life experience. Obviously, we have to practice at it because we become so conditioned to responding in a reactionary way that it is, well, you can ask yourself this question. Do you have the faith, the courage, and the ability to pause when someone says something that you don't like regarding yourself, or maybe somebody close to you in the family, or when you see somebody doing something that you think is just a terrible thing to do, and you feel this condemnation rising within you, this blame? Do you have the ability to pause? Can you just pause and look at what you're going through and wonder if you really want to go through that again, instead of deciding this is stealing my peace of mind, this is stealing my feeling good, this is stealing my well-being. And then again, this is the second part of that great discourse at the Last Supper. In John 15, 16 and 17, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you. This I command you, to love one another. Boy, it doesn't seem like a difficult thing. But of course, that love is beyond the normal definition that we have given to love, which is mostly about romance and me getting what I want, or I can't be part of this or part with you. This whole idea that you were to love one another. And that love requires us to look past the limited expressions of others so that we can still sustain peace and bestow peace in our lives and in our circumstances. That's what it's about. Anyway, today you hear a lot in the traditional Christian circles about accepting Jesus as your personal Savior. In Unity, we just shifted a little bit. It's accepting Christ within you, your true nature. You accept your true nature to come forth and express as you. And that is accepting Christ as your Savior. But don't let me hold you out there with that thought. I want to again emphasize that we can prove the will of God. Anyone can prove the will of God. It's not left to faith all the way until you drop this body. You can prove the will of God by being awake in the process of living and coming to understand what it is you're putting out that you are getting back. And because so many people are not want or awake enough to do that, they do not realize that they don't feel good because their whole object of living is self-centered and conflict-oriented. I'll tell you a story that might stay with you. These two guys are on the job. two blue-collar workers. They sit down to have lunch one day away from the construction site, and they both open their lunch pail, and the one guy looks in and says, "Baloney, baloney, baloney. I'm sick of it." The guy next to him says, "Well, why don't you tell your wife you want something else for lunch?" He said, "I'm not married." The guy says, "Well, who makes your lunch?" "I do." So that's your affirmation this week. I am always making my own lunch. And if you want to change what you're having for lunch, then you have to be aware of what you are really putting out, what comes through your mind, what you believe in. And then you have to alter that somewhat, be willing to have it altered by this divine presence which will come forth as your true nature, which is we refer to it in unity as the Christ in you. So if we want to prove the will of God, and I always get this, people say, "But how can you say the universe is honorable?" Well, I'm saying it in a very broad fashion. The universe is honorable in a sense that one's consciousness prevails in how one feels and relates to everything else in life, feels about everything else and relates to everything else in life. If life is a training school where we're learning to release all negative perception in order to bestow positive awareness, if that's what we're training to do, why would we be training to do that? Why would a person take that on if it wasn't to enter the kingdom of heaven, which is in our midst, which is here now? So, Course in Miracles will once again remind us, if you had nothing else, this would be it. You wouldn't need the whole Course in Miracles. You would just need to understand this to make your life truly worth living. You can read this in the old text, page 163, in the new edition on page 175. God's will is your salvation. Why would anybody write that? Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you to have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? When you meet anyone, remember it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat her, you will treat yourself. As you think of him or her, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in each you will find yourself or lose yourself. Whenever two sons of God meet, they are given another chance at salvation. Do not leave anyone without giving salvation to him or her and receiving it yourself. As you treat her, you will treat yourself. As you think of him or her, you will think of yourself. How is that possible? Who would write this? Unless the majesty of light was filling that mind, and these words were just flowing onto these pages. The light of living truthfully, majestically, beautifully, in an enlightened fashion, without qualms or concerns or worries every moment, and blame and consternation and conflict, without any of that, just to live a light-guided life. Can we take this all back again, please? As I said, if you had nothing else but this, it would be enough to become enlightened. God's will is your salvation. Would He not have given you the means to find it? If He wills you to have it, He must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? When you meet anyone, remember, it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat her, you will treat yourself. As you think of him or her, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in each you will find yourself or lose yourself. Whenever two sons of God meet, they are given another chance at salvation. Do not leave anyone without giving salvation to him or her and receiving it yourself. And here's the practice. If you do that, if you withhold that immediate feeling of resentment because someone said something that went against what you feel or someone you know, or did something, instead of allowing that resentment or that anger to rise, that eye for an eye thing to come forward in your consciousness, to pause, and then to do something extraordinary, to just inwardly bless and send love and healing to whatever it seems to you that someone is doing. And I promise you, the moment you do that, even the very first time you do that, you're going to start to have a feeling rise within you. You're going to start to feel, wow, it feels okay to do this. It really does feel okay to do this. And the more you do it, the more okay you're going to feel. And the more happiness and joy. Until you recognize that to not do it would be to surrender feeling good. That's it. There's no other religion. It's right here. It's been given over and over and over again. So we're going to meditate together, which means we're going to withdraw our thinking from the illusion of separation. And we're going to be okay. It's going to be okay, sitting here, feeling the presence of being alive, truly alive. And I'm going to share the same ideal that I have shared the last couple of weeks. Begin by listening to the tones of this beautiful crystal bowl and letting go any grievance you may have brought with you. Just let it go and be okay with sitting here, accepting your okayness. And then take into your consciousness this mantra. I am they. I am he. I am you. I am she. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am God. I am they. I am she. I am you. I am he. I am the mountains, the forests, and the sea, the stars, the deserts. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am God. I am they, them, all those others. I am he, she as well. I am the mountains, the forests, the stars, the deserts, and the sea. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am love. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us go forth with an inspiration to practice the at-one-ment. And for this opportunity in every moment, we give thanks. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And as we're preparing to do this, let me remind you that Santisha will be at the second service at 11 o'clock. If you are so inclined, you can stay, have some refreshments, and stay for the second service. Oh, there's going to be a Mardi Gras potluck. And okay, that's what we're doing. Potluck, you can show up, bring something to share. And because of that, they're going to be setting up tables. I had asked to have a circle set up in fellowship. You sure? Yes. You wouldn't lie to me? Okay. All right, so we will have that group meeting after the service is completed. So those of you that are watching online, you might want to just decide to brave it someday and show up here again. I met some people yesterday that haven't been here for a while, and they wept because they hadn't been here. They said they miss it so much. All right, so show up. It's better in person, really is. And so as we bring to mind that gift we'd like to make to Unity of Boulder, let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. Wherever I go, whatever I do, whoever I think I am, wherever I go, whatever I do, whoever I think I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God.
Join me now, please, as we bless this offering. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of Truth, and to the victory of the Spirit of Truth. Amen. Okay, have a beautiful day.